The Torah in this week's parsha talks about Birkas Kayanim. So just wanted to point out a few things about Birkas Kayanim. So first off, the Torah says, Daber el Aaron ve'albanav leimor. He used the lashon of dibur. Kaisav achas b'nei Yisrael amor lahem. So first he starts off with a lashon of dibur, and then he switches over to a lashon of emor. Question A. Question B, it says off, Rashi says, that Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, that Hashem will bench you with all your mammon. She'yisborch nechasecha, v'yishmerecha shel yavai alecha shoidedim lita mimeincha, she'anoisim matana la'avdoi, ein eyachal l'shamre mikol adam, when he gives, who anoisen, who hashayme, and that's how he ends. So the first thing that the benching is for money. And where do you see Torah? So that Chazal teach us. It says that Yor Hashem Panav Elecha is, so the Medrash says, Zeh ma'or Torah sheyorei necha v'libecha b'Torah. Question: why does the Torah first give us money and then Torah? Everybody knows, although money is very important, but of course Torah is nitzchi. Mammon is money. It's here while we're alive. Then it's gone. We're gone. So why are we getting first a bracha of money and then we're getting a bracha of Torah? Two questions which I'd like to propose the following answers. And why it starts off with dibur and then goes to amor lahem. So first you have to understand the difference between a dibur and an amira. So dibur, and you have that all the time in the Torah, Veidaber Hashem al Moshe leimor. So Veidaber Hashem al Moshe, dibur is pshat, dibur is miloshin nekeva, and amira is miloshin zachar. As everybody knows, that lashon nekeva, although it's on a lower level than the lashon zachar, but it is more defined. So something that's much more defined, although it's on a lower level, because it could only mean a specific amount of things, is a symptom in the dibur. Amira is higher, but it's less defined. So as far as we're concerned, that thing that is less defined is on a higher madrega because it has more potential to have more taichin in it. However, a dibur, which is very defined, you have less opportunity to specify what it is because it's much more specific. In Vayidaber Hashem al Moshe leimor, that Rebbeinu Shalom told it over to Moshe in a very specific way, but he gave it over to Klal Yisrael in a way that left Klal Yisrael with an ability to learn it and darshan it in many different ways. That's the Taich Vayidaber Hashem. He starts off with a dibur and he ends off with an amira. Now, amira is coming from koil. In koil and dibur or amira, koil has no definition. It's just saying, that's koil, with no definition. Koil gadol, the Torah was given by koil gadol. Right? It was also Aseres Hadibris was specific, but it first started off with Koil Gadol that it can be taiched many different ways. Because Koil, like Amira, has even less specificity in it in order for a person to understand what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants from the individual. So it's Aseres Hadibris is an lower mandrega than Asara Ma'amorais. The Asar Ma'amorais was not specific, it's an Amira, with that the world was created. However, the Aseres Hadibris is already much more specific, that is specifically for Klal Yisrael. So just to show the difference between an Amira and a Dibur, Al Pisaid, that again, a Dibur is coming from the Hei Motzai Sapeh, you're being very specific. An Amira is going closer to just the Yichud of a Chech and Goren, and that produces a koil, and that produces something which is not clear, which gives a much greater ability to be defined, much greater ability Okay, then a dibur is much more defined and an amira is much less defined. And therefore, since it's much less defined, so therefore you could darshan so many more drushas from it. Now, why in Berkas Kainim daber el Aaron v'amar lahem? What does it say to Aaron? It should be specific, v'amar lahem, and then tell them what to do. Which leads to the next question: is why is the Torah telling us Yivarechecha Hashem is b'mamen and v'yishmerecha is to protect the money? Then only after, towards the end, is Yair Hashem panav elecha is referring to Torah. Why is money first? So to understand that in a simple oifen, we know that the world was created, Bereshis bara Elokim, was created with Midas Hadin. We know the word Gevir, somebody who has money. Gevir is Miloshin Gvura, which is also a Midas Hadin. Why is being a Gevir considered Midas Hadin? Because the person that has money has so many more abilities to take that money and use it either for shtosim or for bad things or whatever it is. So the taiva to do something right or wrong is much, much greater by a gevir who has that ability to do wrong things. So when a person is kaivish, that yetzer of to do the wrong things, and instead he takes that money, that bracha that Hashem gave him, and he uses it for giving tzedakah, and for being machzik Torah, and for doing all the right things that he's supposed to be doing. So once he does that, and he's a kaivish the yetzer, then he's able to have the hana of Ur HaTorah. That's Yor Hashem Panav Elecha. He'll be lit up with the Ur HaTorah. It's just similar to Sur Meirav Asay Tov. You first need to be kaivish yetzer. The Baruch Shalom gives you abilities on a regular basis. He gives people brachos with a lot of money, and then it's really just a test. That's why it's called Miloshin Gibar, Miloshin Gevir, is a test. Can you be Mizgaber al Hayetzer? Do you have that ability to be Mizgaber in order to take the money, which could be used for shtusim and hailalas and all kinds of things, and instead you focus it towards being machzik Torah, and that person himself is learning Torah even though he has so many businesses to take care of and so forth. So that is the greatest bracha. And then is Yor Hashem Panav Elecha, Hashem will light you up with Torah, and the Torah will taka be nitzchi, and the schusim that you did together with that money will also become nitzchi. And therefore, yes, it's a great bracha to have money, but it's also a great nisayon. And therefore, we have to take everything and channel it in the right direction. And it's a great nisayon. And the Rebbeinu Shalom did it like that, and that's why he created the world. He created the world of Midas Hadin. First, you have to overcome all the dinim. You have to overcome all the taivas that we have in Olam Hazeh. And then we have to start again. And we have to sit down and learn and channel all the excess that Rebbeinu Shalom gives to us, to be Mekayim mitzvahs the way they're supposed to be. Maybe we'll be zeicher to being rich and being zeicher to do the right thing with it.